speaking, warning all of you to brace yourselves for big news.
The biggest.
Tell them, Robin.
Holy Saprosa's, Batman! It's really exciting. Soon, very soon, Batman and I will be catapulting right out of your TV sets and onto your theater screens.
That's right, Robin. Our first full-length motion picture feature in color opens a whole new world of thrills. The big screen gives us more space on land, sea, and in the air to challenge the most cataclysmic collection of super criminals ever. Their minimum objective must be the entire world.
And here are the dastardly villains. The Catwoman.
Oh, you're going to see the perfect crime when I get Batman in my claws.
The Joker. Have you heard this one? It'll kill you, Batman. The Penguin.
There are 2 eggs that this wily bird is going to scramble. Batman and Robin.
The Riddler.
Question. Who's going to make the feathers fly and knock Batman and Robin out of the sky?
See the new weapons in the Bat Arsenal combat the forces of evil. The Batcopter. The exploding, man-eating shark.
Holy sardine!
The relentless Megaton Magnet. The unholy Quartet's secret submarine.
Fireman! Fireman!
The Batboat in action. The deadly disintegrator. The attack on the Batcave.
Holy hallucination!
You'll blast through the skies on these mad, manned missiles.
And you'll be with me, Robin, at the Bat Scanner, eavesdropping on Batman's romance. And you'll shudder at the death-dealing Polaris missiles.
Brace yourself, Robin. This could be the end. And that's just a sample of the exciting exploits ahead in our first feature motion picture.
Holy memoranda, folks. Make a note not to miss it.
Good thinking, Robin.
Batman is an action-adventure comedy crime movie based on the live-action Batman TV series that was released on July 30th, 1966. I've never seen a single episode of the series, but I have seen numerous action scenes from it on YouTube. But I have seen the movie, so let's see if it's good, by starting, as always, with the story. The story follows Batman and his sidekick Robin, who, after trying to find a boat that turned out to be a mirage, find that it was part of a scheme that may have been planted by 4 of the criminals not currently in prison, which include the Joker, the Penguin, the Riddler, and Catwoman. It is of course up to Batman and Robin to find out what these 4 are planning and stop them. The story is about as simplistic as you can fucking get with a Batman story, but it's the good kind of simplistic. It's kind of a live-action cartoon. I mean that in the best way possible. The movie is overall campy and very over the top. I know that this movie is not accurate to the comic, but honestly, neither are the Christopher Nolan movies. One of the main aspects about Batman is that he shows empathy toward people. Even people who have, let's say, less moral fiber than him. This is not shown at all in the Nolan movies. I would say it is shown way more in this movie. The whole sequence with him trying to get rid of the bomb at the pier is actually a pretty good showcase of his empathy. He tries to find a place to get rid of the bomb while harming absolutely no one. Also, after the bomb goes off, Robin asks why they are protecting alcoholics. Batman says, While they may be drinkers, they're still human beings. Give me one legit time when Batman did any fucking thing like that in the Nolan movies. Because you'll find that he never did. If you don't believe me, watch the video The Dark Knight Ruined Modern Batman by Anthony Gramiglia. I will give a link in the description for that. Also, the scene has a pretty funny line from Batman earlier. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. On that note, this movie is pretty funny. Yeah, it is absolutely fucking bonkers with this story and dialogue, but I feel like it knows that it's bonkers and just doesn't care if you think it's fucking stupid. For that, it's actually kind of wholesome. This is because it uses a lot of dramatic irony. It doesn't pretend that the audience doesn't know something. The tension comes from wondering if the characters will find out that they are being tricked. This is shown the most through the whole thing when Catwoman disguises herself as a Russian reporter named Kitka. The name alone should tell you that it is clearly Catwoman. Sure, there were times where I feel like Bruce Wayne should have figured it out that it was Catwoman, but even then, it may not have been as obvious as I thought. Either way, he eventually does figure it out. But I love that when he does figure it out, it plays the song that they were dancing to earlier. It adds some emotion to it. Now, I have been saying nothing but good things about the story, but I do have some problems with this movie. The dialogue, I'm actually kind of mixed on. There's some really good lines. In fact, I love that Robin says shit like, "Holy sardine, holy Halloween, holy Polaris, holy heartbreak." Like, that's hilarious. But there is a lot of dialogue that is typical 1950s and 1960s flowery dialogue in here. Or just dialogue that is trying way too fucking hard to be serious. The religious dialogue is pretty rampant, although not as bad as My First Miracle. Also, what's up with the uses of "what the devil"? They say this more than they do in the 1990s cartoon. This was made 2 years before the MPAA. However, the Hayes office loosened the restrictions so that characters could say "what the hell." But I guess it was done more to follow the spirit of the show than anything. It's still pretty fucking irritating, though. Another aspect that may be good or bad, depending on how you look at it, is the whole United World aspect of the movie. They're supposed to have diplomatic conversations with each other, but all they are doing is arguing with each other pretty fucking viciously. On top of that, no one is even listening to each other, nor do they seem to understand each other. Half of them are just speaking in their native language. This is actually closer to accurate than people might think. The movie could be giving a subtle little commentary on the United Nations. It could be saying how it is overall pointless and diplomacy is overrated. Batman even says, "What a great collection of inconspicuous minds." I don't know if this was intentional on the writer's part, but if it was, it's pretty fucking brilliant commentary. Even as a non-fan of the Batman universe, I can say I found a lot to enjoy about this story. I wouldn't say it's the absolute best of the best, but I don't think it was trying to be groundbreaking. The action scenes are pretty fucking good. Actually, let me rephrase that. The action scenes are pretty fucking good in an old, goofy TV fight scene kind of way. They're shot and edited pretty well, all things considered. But if you're expecting it to be a riveting fight scene that is really intense, you miss the whole point of the movie. But you get a good amount of punches and kicks, and also you get the onomatopoeias that you see in the TV show in the final action scene, which is a nice touch. They're just so goddamn entertaining. Now, as for the production values, the cinematography, editing, and sound are all pretty good for the time. The music is really fucking good. Nelson Riddle, who I believe composed the music for the show, returns to compose the music for the movie. So many memorable melodies and a nice jazzy kind of sound. I could listen to this all day. Overall, Batman, the 1966 movie, is a pretty decent movie. It may not be the dark and gritty Batman that we are used to, but it doesn't mean it's completely worthless either. It is absolutely hilarious, both ironically and even unironically at times. The action scenes are very entertaining, and the story even has a few genuinely good elements. The dialogue is definitely the weakest part of the movie. I will admit that some of the story relies on the characters being a little too stupid to be realistic, but I don't think this movie is trying to be realistic. But for what it's worth, for what this movie is trying to do, it works. It was also made before people got their minds fucked up about what Batman is about, so I would recommend watching this movie if you have not seen it. I give Batman, the 1966 movie, 3 out of 5 stars with the title of Worth Watching. Anyway, I'm Spike Robot. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel, and feel free to support me on Patreon and follow me on Instagram. Take it easy. Honor the freedom jingos.
Down in the dirt, I am strong, I'll show you, even